I have taken over 10,000 cold calls over the course of my wholesale real estate career, which has helped us generate 7 figures in assignment fees over the last few years. You might have already seen some of my videos where I take these calls live, but I haven't done a great job explaining my thought process behind them. So think of this video as the blueprint for taking cold calls as a wholesaler. I don't want to just tell you what to say, but I want to explain the why behind why I'm saying these things. On top of that, I'm going to go in and review some of my cold calls so you can understand the difference between a successful call and an absolute flop. Now, before I go in and review my cold calls, you need to first understand the 8 essential components to a successful cold call. Building some slight rapport, setting the stage, getting into their motivation, labeling them with the problem, overviewing the past pain, getting an understanding of the condition of the property, going over the deal killers, and then setting the stage for that next follow-up. Now, rapport. What is rapport? Rapport is like you going to the coffee shop, seeing that girl, and trying to just make small talk to, make her more comfortable to want to talk to you in a way. Same thing goes for sales and making cold calls. When it comes to this, don't overcomplicate it. It's as simple as like, hey, just giving you a call. I was in the area recently. I'm just a local investor. I was kind of cruising around the area, stumbled across that property, and I figured I'd give you a call to see if you'd be interested in selling it. Or, hey, I sent you a letter last week. It had X, Y, and Z on it. Oh yeah, yeah, that was from me. Just get them a little bit more comfortable to want to talk to you, so they're willing to open up a little bit more. Don't overcomplicate it. A little bit of small talk gets the person a little bit more comfortable. Now, setting the stage. Setting the stage makes it to where there's not as much sales pressure. It helps the seller not have to guess what's around the next corner, or what's the next thing he's gonna ask me, or what is he gonna wanna talk about now. Overall, it lets them know how much time of theirs you're gonna be taking, what you guys are gonna be talking about, and what the outcome of this conversation is gonna be. You let them know those 3 things, they're not gonna be trying to rush you off the phone, and they're gonna know what you're gonna be talking about on that call. Again, how much time of theirs are you gonna be taking, what are you gonna be discussing on this phone call, and what is the outcome of it. Tell them those 3 things, you should have a pretty decent call. Motivation. You wanna know why this person is entertaining this conversation, why they're willing to entertain, an offer on their home. Why do you wanna sell this property, Mr. Seller? There's better ways to ask it, and the way that I like to ask it is, hey, Mr. Seller, what has you thinking about selling this property? Seems like a great property in a great area. Why not just, rent it out or, list it with a realtor? What has you thinking about selling this property? Reason why I want to start off with motivation in the beginning of this framework is because I don't want to waste my time. I don't want to ask them about the condition of the property for 10 minutes, go into what they've tried in the past to try to sell this property. I really just want to know if this is a serious seller and a qualified lead. Now that you have a decent understanding of why this person wants to sell this property, you understand their motivation, you now need to label them with a problem. If there's no pain, there's no gain. That is what sales is at the end of the day. We are solving problems, so we need to be able to label them with that problem so we can then stir up an idea and how we can bring a solution to the table. Overviewing past pain. You got to get an understanding of what they have tried in the past. This kind of ties in with motivation a little bit to see like, okay, how serious are you with selling this property? What have you tried previously to get this off of your hands? Have you just been procrastinating over and over and over again? Have you tried listening with the realtor? Oh, you have. Tell me about that. What went wrong? What went right? What did you like about it? Is this the first time you're dealing with someone just calling you out of the blue and asking to buy your property? If it's not, tell me about that last situation and why did it not work out? Condition. We need to get an understanding of the condition of this property so we can properly run our numbers. The best thing that you can do is just start off with the bigger ticket items. The electrical, the HVAC system, the plumbing system, the roof, if the basement's finished, if it has like an attic upstairs area, is that finished? It's a big thing in Chicago. Windows, any sort of major exterior work that needs to be done. Those bigger ticket items is what's really going to impact this offer and what that price is. Now that you've covered those bigger ticket items with the homeowner, you now want to transition into like the kitchen, the bathroom, and more of the cosmetic stuff, the trim, the doors, things of that nature. But again, those bigger ticket items is what's really gonna impact that price. Deal killers. Some people call it deal killers, some people call it roadblocks. It's basically things that are gonna stop this deal from actually going through. The biggest deal killers, the first thing you need to start with is potential influencers who might be upset with this homeowner if they don't talk with them first before accepting an offer. Literally just ask the homeowner that, hey, would anybody be upset with you if you decided to sell this property and accept an offer without speaking with them first? Who knows, Aunt Sally might have been a realtor back in the day and she really values her opinion. You wanna know that she values that person's opinion, that she's gonna wanna run it through them first, because if there's any other possible influences, you want them at the property when you're making that offer, or you want them on the phone with you as well while you're making that offer. You don't wanna make this offer and then have them go, okay, yep, just gotta check in with Aunt Sally, who was a realtor back in the day. I really value her opinion. Because then who knows what Aunt Sally might say, and then it might just screw up the deal for you. So you gotta cover potential influences. Along with that, you want to also go over the timeline. You want to ask them, hey, in the ideal world, when would you actually like to have this property off of your hands, closed with the check in your hand? if they're saying 6 months down the line because they got whatever it is that they might need to get figured out, that also leads into the next thing, which is covering, you know, procrastination poison, as I call it. What do they need to figure out before they can actually get this property off of their hands? You know, because if they're saying, oh, I need 6 months to be able to sell this property, well, then when you get into that procrastination poison and what it is that they need to figure out before they can sell it, who knows? You might have a solution to whatever it might be. Oh, you need help moving all this stuff? No worries. At my expense, I'll have our guys go in there, box everything up, and ship it to wherever you need it to go. You know, you want to cover these deal killers. And then the last one, price, you know, I kind of just like to include that within deal killers because who knows, they might tell you 50% over market value, and that's obviously just going to kill the deal. I just include price within the deal killers because you definitely need to cover the asking price. What do they want to sell this property for? Now, lastly, setting the stage for that next follow-up call. Just like you did in the beginning of the phone call, setting the stage for that conversation, you also want to set the stage for that next conversation. The reason being is that when you do give them that next call, they're going to know exactly what you're calling about and what's that call going to be about, how much time it's going to take, and what the outcome of that is going to be. So they're not going to be ghosting you. Now, do keep in mind, these cold calls that you're making, as much as you need to try to have control of that conversation, they can get very fluid, they can get flexible. So you might have to bounce around component to component of this framework, but as long as you can kind of check off each one, you're good. So now that you have more context on how these cold calls should run, let's go in and look at some of my cold calls so I can show you what it looks like to apply these concepts. All right, so let's head over to good old TikTok and let's look at some of my cold calls. Let's try out, let's look at this one.
Hey Sandra, sorry to bother. This is Cam. I just had a quick question for you regarding a property over in Country Club Hills. Just want to see if there's any interest to sell that in the near future.
I've had a lot of inquiries about it. I've got at least 5 people that are contacting me about that property. Currently, my son and his family are living there. While I thought they were going to be moving, he is asking me if he can stay. So I don't have any immediate plans right now.
Got it. I mean, yeah, if you got someone that's going to be staying there, paying you month to month, and you don't have too much to worry about, why would you sell?
No. Did you hear it was my son?
Okay. So you aren't making any income on this one. Gaslight.
No.
So in this part right here, she didn't necessarily say like, oh, I'm trying to sell it ASAP. There's been a lot of people calling. It's been an idea that we would like to sell it, but my son is currently staying there. So I kind of wanted to, you know, dig into a little bit of motivation, maybe ask a problem-inducing question that can kind of create a little bit of urgency, which I do here by asking, oh yeah, like why do you need to sell? If you got somebody there paying you month to month, you know, why not just like let your son stay there and like have him live there? Well, as you see, she's basically saying, well, no, my son's living there. I'm not making any money on this. Let's keep watching.
Okay, gotcha. Well, man, Sandra, you're so nice to allow that. But yeah, I won't be a burden. If you got a bunch of other people calling, I'll make sure that I don't call again. But
Who are you with? Is this something that you do on your own, or
yeah.
are you with a company, or?
Yeah, more so some.
So here, I guess you could say I'm kind of going for the no. I guess this isn't too much of the actual framework that I'm trying to show you guys, more like sales tactic in a way, but I'm kind of going for the no here to kind of keep her coming back. It's almost like a reverse psychology thing. I forgot which sales guru out there, you know, said this or put this out there, but it works pretty well from time to time because as you can see, I've tried to push her off the phone twice, but she keeps coming back.
Something that I do on my own with my partner, you know, you're not going to see me, my handsome face on a billboard or on a TV commercial, but
Probably not, because I'm
Get her laughing a little bit. That's kind of where the rapport comes in. Oh, do you do this on your own? Like, who are you with? No, just a local investor. I'm not a big company. You're not going to see my handsome face on a billboard or a TV commercial. Get her laughing a little bit. Get her more comfortable, and let's see if she opens up even more.
Because I'm in Florida.
Oh my goodness! So you got a property in Illinois. You have your family staying there. You're in Florida.
Yeah, we retired and moved to Florida, but my son is in that house. So, but I also am on Social Security, and I can't keep paying on that house either. So I don't.
That's why it's super important to try to get them to laugh, get them a little bit more comfortable and build that rapport, because now she's just throwing everything at me. Oh, my son lives there. Didn't mention that he's not paying, so I got that out of her. And now after I got her laughing, she said she moved to Florida, doesn't even live here anymore, is living off Social Security, doesn't have that much money to be paying for this house. These are all great notes to then put into my CRM and note for next time when I need to go out and call her. We can't just keep watching this just in
The
case there is
mortgage,
anything
but
else.
the taxes are high enough.
I know it's kind of the elephant in the room, but
The taxes are high, Let me go back a quick second.
That house, so. But I also am on Social Security, and I can't keep paying on that house either. so I don't have a mortgage, but the taxes are high enough.
I know it's kind of the elephant in the room, but I feel like you're kind of giving yourself reasons to potentially maybe get rid of this one.
Yes, I definitely, and my husband certainly would like that to happen. But
And her husband would certainly like this property to go, so it sounds like she has some external opinions that are kind of, making her want to sell the property even more.
we'll have to figure out how.
Well, I could tell you this, Sandra. I'm not.
So I've been able to label them with a problem. I've been able to build that rapport. I've been able to get that motivation. The only thing that I really didn't do too well in this call itself was probably set the stage, but I might have just cut it out just so I could fit it into this TikTok. So I'm gonna say I did set the stage. So rapport, set the stage, motivation, label them with the problem. I guess the only thing that I haven't done just yet was overview past pain, go over the condition, and get a set follow-up call set. Let's look at some other ones. That was a really good motivation one, how to pull motivation and everything else within there as well, which are honestly the most important parts. You need to be getting this motivation. So I'm glad that that was the first one that I showed you, because you really need to get good at pulling motivation out of these homeowners.
Hey, David.
Hello?
Wanted to give you a quick call about a property over in Streamwood on Whitewood Drive.
Yes.
I just wanted to see if there was any interest in potentially selling that in the near future.
Well, yes, there is.
I just saw that, this one might be in the market potentially soon, so I just wanted to maybe beat it to it before I got listed to see if maybe I can put an offer together for you here in the next few weeks.
Yeah, I happen to be at the property for the next couple of days. If you wanted to come Thursday.
So this lead itself was a probate, and the reason why I said what I did say for like that little rapport building part, rather than saying like, hey, I saw that you were, you inherited this property, I'm assuming you probably don't want it. I'm saying, hey, I see that this might be a property that could possibly be in the market soon. Kind of just wanted to beat it to it before you list it on the market. Maybe I can make things easier for you. Little rapport building, let's keep going. He's now in town, so I kind of caught him at a great time.
I'd just like to gather a few details first, just to see if I can throw you a ballpark figure just to save us both some time.
Could you give me a call back
Kind of setting the stage right there.
in maybe 15 minutes, something like that?
I'll give you a call from my personal line.
All right, I'll answer.
Awesome. Thank you, David. Take care. Hey, David, it's Cam again. How are you?
Good, Cam.
Just want to grab a few details of this property here that you got over in Streamwood. In terms of the mechanicals of this one here, and like the HVAC, the electrical, and the plumbing, those all been...
Now keep in mind, the reason why I didn't jump right into motivation on this one is because these probate leads, they're a little bit tricky when you try to get an understanding of their motivation. I mean, think about it. They were just inherited a property, and if you were to ask them, why do you want to sell this? I mean, you already know the answer to it. They inherited the property. So the biggest thing that you can do here is just create that urgency rather than probing on their motivation on their dead family member.
up to date throughout the years, or would you say that's something that might need to get updated?
The furnace is getting replaced tomorrow. The electrical probably, it's fine, also probably needs to be updated. The house was built, I think, in 85. It's a duplex condo, 3 bedrooms with 2 baths. It's not original and it's not up to date.
Okay. I'm just kind of curious, what is you looking to...
So yes, that's the condition as you saw, mainly hit the bigger ticket items. Luckily, he knew that the furnace was getting done, the electrical's up to date, and the plumbing's pretty decent. And I greatly appreciate when they say that, this property, the kitchens, the bathrooms, it's not brand new, it's not completely outdated, and it's not so up to date. It really helps me get a better understanding of the condition of the property.
To sell this one.
Well, it was my mother's, and she passed away, so we're probably going to sell it.
Have you thought about an asking price on this one?
Well, I'm just trying to figure out what it's really worth. I've looked at the comps, the recent ones where they look really great. They're up around 300. And if I'm going to list it, I want to see what the realtor says. I've listed 2 houses, my own and my mother's, in the last 3 years. I hated the whole process. We got done with it. It all went fine, but I hated it. So
Yep.
Overview and past pain, right there. He's listed 2 properties in the past with the realtor, absolutely hated it, so he probably doesn't want to have to list with the realtor again. So I'm, again, just overviewing that past pain. And I guess I did kind of contradict myself a little bit by saying I don't dive too deep into motivation and asking why they want to sell it, but there's a lot of chops in this call. I'm pretty sure this was like a 20-minute call that we chopped down into 3 minutes. So in terms of asking about that motivation, I'm sure that I was trying to just create that urgency within them.
I want to see what the realtor says. I've listed 2 houses, my own and my mother's, in the last 3 years. I hated the whole process. We got done with it. It all went fine, but I hated it. So
Yep, no, totally. I love the buying side when it comes to this, but then listing with my realtor and her telling me a price that she knows that it can sell for and then having to drop price every 2 weeks, it's not a fun game, let me tell you. So I totally hear where you're coming from. Usually if it's like a realtor that you love and you trust, I would always say, you know what, they definitely are thinking in your best interest, but their word versus mine saying, hey, I can pay this, rather than like, hey, I can sell it for this. I mean, it's 2 different promises, you know what I mean?
absolutely. I don't know what the number is that's going to make us say, forget it, we got to do this. But I do know that it's probably not going to be 200. It's going to be probably a little less than that, but the closer it is to 200, the better offer. And
I just want to run my numbers as quickly as I can, talk with a couple partners, and I'll get back to you maybe later on today or tomorrow with a ballpark figure. And if it's
And then set that stage for the next call. The tail end of that was kind of just slight rapport building and slight just showing that I'm an expert in my field, which are 2 very, very important components to a cold call as well. So as you saw from that one, slight rapport building. I did set the stage on that one. I tried to go into motivation a little bit, knowing that I already kind of knew why he wanted to sell it in the first place. Was able to label him with a problem that he was not trying to sell, or I guess I didn't quite label him with a problem. But in terms of overviewing past pain, I can assure you that he does not want to list with the realtor because he hated it. Got a good understanding of the condition of the property, and I set up that follow-up call. In terms of actually labeling him with the problem, he has a property that he inherited and he wants to get rid of it. The only thing I did not hit was deal killers. That is one thing, and I have a tendency to sometimes forget about that. Do not forget to cover deal killers because that is one of the most important parts to a cold call. If you still need more help with wholesale real estate, I got you. I've got a program called the Inner Circle where we literally hold your hand throughout the entire process until you get that first deal under contract. If that sounds interesting, you can go check it out with the link in the description. If not, I'm always going to be posting a bunch of free shit here on my YouTube channel. I'll see you on the next one.